Are you surprised at all, given what you listened? You were interrupted by Craig MacTavish a couple of weeks ago or 10 days ago. So, is this a surprise to you?
No, not at all. I wrote about a week and a half ago. I thought they'd have fired him then, and that McT would step behind the bench. I assume that's going to be the case. He'll probably go in as an interim coach, I believe. So no, listen, you can't lose this many, and how they're playing. There hasn't been a spike in the cardiogram of that team for weeks. They've got no emotion. Their body language collectively is that of a team that expects to lose every night. I've been around long enough. I've seldom seen a coach hang on this long with the team showing the symptoms that the Edmonton Oilers have shown.
So besides Victor Foss the other day, Spec, showing emotion, which was long overdue. We see a lot of highlights of Dallas behind the bench, stone-faced. Craig MacTavish in the booth, stone-faced. Do you get the sense that was just public persona, or do you really kind of feel like these guys were as composed behind the scenes, too, and just trying to patiently wait this thing out?
Well, that's an excellent question. I know Dallas he publicly has never said anything about a player other than positive things. That bent the other day when we all saw the video of Victor Foss absolutely screaming at his teammates, and Dallas came behind the podium and said, actually, he was encouraging them to go score the next goal. That kind of crossed the line from being supportive to, come on, we're not all idiots here. So that's what we see in a desperate coach. He'd run out of ammunition. He'd run out of things to say. Was he screaming and yelling behind the scenes? I don't suspect he was. It doesn't seem to be in his nature. He was a catatonic guy, and he's ended up with a catatonic team. He didn't show very much emotion, if any, and lo and behold, nor did his club. And, I'm not saying everyone has to be a screamer, but when you've lost 15 out of 16, there probably is a time to raise your voice a little bit, huh?
The next step is replacing Dallas Eakins, whether it be short-term or a permanent replacement. Elliot Friedman is reporting that Craig MacTavish will go behind the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only option that they have?
Oh, yeah, it is, because for two reasons. They've got a farm team coach that some feel might be the man for the job, but this team cannot bring in another rookie NHL coach. Impossible. So Todd Nelson, as good a young coach as he is, shouldn't even apply for the job. So you can't bring him up now because it would just be unfair to give him a job for 4 months and get rid of him.
Elliott's saying that there's some discussion of him maybe joining the bench, but that MacT would be the coach. So
okay, sure, maybe
way of
he comes
easing
in
him
to
in.
help, but I don't think he should. Listen, I'm talking from. If I'm the GM of this team, I don't give Todd Nelson the feeling like he might be my next coach. Not because he doesn't have a bright future in this league as a coach, but because this team absolutely needs a veteran. They need the next Todd McClellan that shakes loose, or whoever might come loose during this season. They need a veteran guy here. They've had enough rookies in important positions in this organization. It clearly hasn't worked.
Now, you're around this team a lot. Was it given direction?
Like a real lot.
Yeah. Was it being given direction, or was it just not buying in?
Well, Dallas was playing the piano as fast as he could, boys. He wasn't sitting around waiting for the problems to fix themselves. But his methodology wasn't working with this group. I have to say that I feel sorry for Dallas Eakins. He was, I believe I described him on this show once a few weeks ago as a jockey with a three-legged horse. Like, he could not win the race here with this club. His general manager gave him two NHL centermen this year. One's hurt now, so he's only got one. He hasn't given him a top pairing defenseman. There isn't one in this entire organization, a top pairing guy. And they don't have a number one goalie. So, Scotty Bowman couldn't have dragged this team into the playoffs. So this isn't on Dallas.
Mark Spector is with us. I'm just curious, what, at the root of it, what does this do? What does it solve?
Oh, this is just a quick patchwork. They had to do something. Like, something had to happen here.
Based on last night. Yeah, right?
Well, this has been 15 out of 16 games they've lost. It's not just one night, but there's no sign of increased emotion or pushback from this roster. Absolutely none. In fact, it's going the other way. They had 10 shots on goal, 10 shots through 2 periods last night, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that's what it was. 10 shots in a game against a team that played last night. You've lost 14 of 15. You're on your own rink for the second night in a row on their own rink. They had no energy. So something had to happen. I'm a firm believer that you can't just. There's 51 games left here, boys. Like we're not at the trade deadline. There's a lot of hockey left here.
Who is the leader of this team? Now, I'm not talking the captain. I mean, you're around them day in, day out. Is there, Ferentz, I understand where's the C. But who is the guy, if there is any, that you can look to, Spec, because you're around them all the time, and that's another one of the problems, I think, that there's not a true leader out there on this team.
There's one of the best leading figures would be Matt Hendricks, who's a very positive. He's a hockey player's hockey player, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can follow this guy. He's also a fourth line winger, and they've got a culture here where they've got all these kids up front making $6 million. Do they listen to the fourth line winger? I don't know. Doesn't look like it.
No.
So yeah, they've, again, another sort of thought or viewpoint from outside guys. I'm sure you've heard this. Maybe some of you espouse this, that it's the fault of the high draft pick kids. It's Taylor Hall's fault. It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' fault. These guys have been absolutely left to their own devices by this organization. They've been made the leaders on the team way before their time. They walked onto the first line. Leon Draisaitl's sitting here. He should be in Prince Albert right now. It is not the fault of these young players. It is management's inability to surround them with a proper National Hockey League caliber of veteran. That's where the problem lies here.
Putting this together as we go, Dallas Eakins has been let go by the Edmonton Oilers. Craig MacTavish is taking over as the head coach, and Todd Nelson is on his way from OK City and will meet up with the team. This, according to Nick Kyprios, will meet up with the team in time for their game tomorrow night against the Arizona Coyotes. The Edmonton Oilers, 31 games into the season, have replaced yet another head coach, and that's, you go back to 2008, and it's a long list. It's MacTavish, Quinn, Rennie, Kruger, Eakins, and MacTavish as an interim head coach. And Craig MacTavish quoted 10 days ago saying, those coaches were all delivering the same message. So what is the message from Craig MacTavish if it wasn't getting through from the compilation prior to? Mark?
Here's the problem. That's an excellent question. I think we don't all have the solutions for this team, but we can see what they lack. And they lack grit. They lack the ability to get to the net. They lack people with size. They don't have a point shot. They don't have a first pairing defenseman. None of those things are going to change with a new coach. Mm-mm. So it's an excellent question. What can Craig MacTavish tell them that they haven't heard already? Here's another thing that doesn't work for Craig MacTavish, guys. That old threat where you say, if you don't play well, I'm shipping you out of town. Right? That's not working for a coach in the Edmonton Oilers either. So Craig MacTavish walks in with very few bullets in his holster here. Well, tell me, what's he going to tell these guys to make them play better?
Oh, my guess is that Todd Nelson and Craig Ramsey will do a lot of the X's and O's. And then with regard to this team, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty obvious, was paralyzed on the ice. We saw that last night.
Yeah.
Pretty much paralyzed off the ice to make a move. To your point, Mark, this is the maybe start of something else. I'll be mildly shocked if there isn't a big trade made by All-Star. I will be. If it and I'm not talking about a third liner. You know what I mean? A big trade. I'll be shocked if there isn't.
There's no point.
Right. There's no point trading a third or a fourth liner. There's none. I mean, but if it continues down this road, again, MacTavish's message is more about, all right, well, I'm just down here. You got to look at me every day now, and he has to do something, because if this team continues to remain paralyzed with regard to making moves because they're afraid one of these young guys that they're going to have to trade away is going to shine somewhere else. Newsflash, if he goes to a team that's really good, that player's going to shine. He's going to shine. But if you get back significant pieces to the puzzle that will help build your team, again, the structure, the infrastructure of this team is broken. You can't build a team just at the NHL level. You got to do it at the minor league level too. You have to do that. You have to have it all.
Well,
but
here's the point though. Now the guy that needs to be working on the big trade is coaching.
He's bringing up Nelson. He's got Ramsey. He's got those. It's the day in, day out stuff that he won't have to. It's the FaceTime that he's going to finally have with the players. Instead of going on a trip and seeing them and then sitting up in the stands for GMs, now he is going to be in that room. He's going to have presence, or he better at least. That's the only. It's not even a threat, but it's that presence that they see him all the time.
Okay, wait a second though. And I think I'll try to make this succinct. This is the death spiral of an organization. We're making moves now to get better immediately when the biggest problems and the exact reason why the Edmonton Oilers are where they are, and Leafs fans can relate to this, is their scouts have failed. They have not drafted anyone after the first round that's been any good for years and years and years. So the infrastructure, as you say, is the problem. And it's not on the ice. It's not behind the bench. Craig MacTavish needs to hire new scouts. Someone in his organization, you guys, thought that Nikita Nikitin was a good player, worthy of $4.5 million a year for 2 years.
Yeah, you're right.
Whoever that guy is, he's got to get replaced. And Craig MacTavish isn't going to replace him from behind the bench in Arizona tomorrow night or whenever they play there. And those are the problems here. These are off-ice scouting and drafting and pro scouting issues. When we talk about cleaning a house here, it's not just the guys who we recognize. It's the guy who,
absolutely.
It's the guy who picked these second round picks, number 31 overall, that generally aren't playing.
And that's why you don't rush to do any kind of trading. And you let him, to Billy's point, go behind the bench, get FaceTime with the players, see what the character is like up front and all the rest. Don't rush into anything. And I think with Nicholson involved, this organization is going to be reviewed from top to bottom.